Yeah, I got you. We're on. We're live. So, James asking me how I'm doing. I'll tell you how I'm doing. I'm doing shit. It's
Talk to
tough.
us.
It's tough dieting and being 4 weeks out, and also running the business, because when you have business issues, like when you're in a normal state of mind, you kind of can work through them.
Yeah.
But when you're, when you're 4 weeks out, you get like a little bit edgy and testy.
Hazy.
Yeah, it's like everything you need.
Trenny.
Yeah, trendy. No, but like, how like when you're 3 or 4 weeks out, you need everything to be like in its place.
Yeah.
Like you have a system for everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when things kind of divert from the path, you get a little. That's right. It's a huge deal, right?
It's like 10 times normal amplified.
Yeah. Whereas like in a normal state of mind, you just like work through the problem and you'd be fine, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're having a little bit of issues on the business end of things. Yeah, it's actually like, it's weird. It's like mood wise, it's a good day, but business wise, I'm having some issues, and then my weight won't drop. I'm stuck. Like, I feel like I wake up every day leaner, but my weight is just stuck.
So good thing, surely, on the weight front. I wouldn't worry about the weight. You know that.
Yeah, we discussed this yesterday. As long as you look better, who gives a shit?
I don't believe you, Ben. Ben thinks I'm growing at a rapid rate.
Wait. I didn't say that. I said you're benefiting from the fact that you have some muscle memory going on still. Like,
but at what rate? Like, I've been 266 for like, I woke up at 266 today. I've literally been between 264 and 268 for like the last like probably 4 weeks, or three weeks at least.
And you look better each week, right?
Yeah, from what I've seen, you look better. So it's like there's definitely a muscle to fat ratio exchange going on.
I guess, but I mean, at that rate, like that's like, I mean, fuck.
You got the good sauce.
Maybe you lost that much.
I got the good shit.
or you were that deflated. You lost that much tissue.
I did. I actually was like, I was starting from a place of like really shit. Like my body looked like total. When I started, I'm like, I don't even think it'll all come back. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it was such a bad thing.
We had a phone call, 4 weeks ago, and you were like, yeah, this isn't happening. And then progressively, you're like, and then like 3 days later, you're like, shit's happening. And then it's like every day.
Last night before bed, I was like, James, better look out. I'm coming. That's how I felt.
Yeah, one of them, yeah. and then today, you're like,
and then I woke up this morning. I was like, forget it.
But that's exactly what 4 weeks out is. 4 or 5 weeks. We're all in that boat. We're in that position now where one day you feel like you're going to conquer the world, and the next day you're like, am I even a pro? Like, what the fuck? Like, where am I?
Isn't it crazy? Like, there's literally like I sent Ben my photos in the morning, like from yesterday morning. Yeah. And he goes, are these morning photos? And I knew exactly why he said it, because everything looked like stringy and like
but empty. Dry though.
Yeah, dry. Yeah, but like my legs looked a little smaller and stuff. And
yeah.
It's like when I look like that, I'm like, I feel good because I feel lean, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't beat anybody like this. And then at night before bed, I'm like, I feel full as a house, even though I'm not eating any carbs, which is really fucking weird.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I find, because I'm, when I'm coaching people, I'm like, I don't care how happy you are during the process. I care if you're happy on the stage, right? The point where you walk out on stage, it matters, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the fact that you fucking look every second of every day and you go, no, I'm shit. No, that's not right. That's not right. I should be looking better now. It doesn't actually matter what you look like now. It matters what you end up looking like, right? But it's so hard to mentally.
Well, I'll touch on that real quick, and then sorry, James, I'll let you go.
That's all right, that's fine.
I just want to say real quickly. So there was a period in my career where it really affected me, like early on, like I'd say back 10 years ago. Yeah. Where it would really, really affect me. Like I would look sharp in the morning and then watery at night. And I'd be like, fuck, right? Now I look at myself in the morning and I might look at myself post-workout and I don't think about it. Like we're talking about it and I'm expressing emotion because we're on a podcast.
Yeah.
Day to day, I just do the work and I don't, you know what I mean? So
that's what it takes. It takes training your mind to just kind of let it be. Because it's like Ben said, isn't it? Like, everything that happens between now and the stage, as important as it is, the final product is the only product that's important.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to come to grips and realization that everything I do, I'm content with, because when I'm on stage, I'm going to be at my best then.
Yeah.
And as long as you can keep that mentality, because I get it as well. Like some days I train, the pumping isn't as good, or I don't look as dry. I look like I'm holding, or things change. And if you let that kind of get into your head, it can really deter you on your, trajectory. That's probably a very good one.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, it's good for listeners to hear that, because it doesn't get any fucking easier the longer you've been bodybuilding. Like, you've been bodybuilding a long time. I've been bodybuilding pretty long, Ben has as well. And I'm actually probably more nervous now with how I look than in the beginning, because when I was younger, I just kind of didn't pay attention to it. But as it becomes more important and a part of what you do and what you are, I suppose pressure.
Well, I was just going to say there's a difference now. When you're younger, you just want to look good because you want to look good and you don't want to embarrass yourself. But when you're at the place where we are now, you're like, okay, well, there's a lot of things riding on that placing.
It's a credibility thing, isn't it? It's like, we all have to appear confident, and we all have to put our good energies out there and tell people we're worth listening to because we're professionals. But there's also that fear factor of, oh shit, what if I do fuck it up?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's also financial. I mean, I used to always think when I was competing more, I used to always think if I place here, my renegotiation of my contract,
power goes up. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I was competing more regularly, social media wasn't as important.
No.
Your placings were more important. So I was like, okay, if I place third at this show, I can ask for money. If I do the Arnolds, I can ask for more money. Like all those things kind of really mattered. Now it's not so much. Like now, whether you're fifth or third or first, if you have a good social media following and and you have a lot of engagement, you can probably still make money. But no, just on the physical side of things, it's just the other thing I found really interesting is how the fuck am I getting a pump at night? Like before bed last night, I was going to bed and I'm like, everything looked really full, but I'm not. I had 60 grams of carbs yesterday. I'm like, how does that make sense?
It's got to be this.
Water?
Literally, just your body's holding a nice amount of fluid intracellular. Like, it shows how important water is to your physique, perhaps. Maybe you're one of them guys that, people are like, oh, I've got to have carbs on the day of the show, to fill out. Often it's this. So maybe that's just like an omen of how your body works. I'm not going to say do that because I'm not trying to fuck up your shit.
No,
but you're obviously nice and sensitive to water.
No, you're right. Because there was one show I remember doing with John where it was the day of the show, and he's like, "You look like you're holding water a little bit," and I was like. He's like, but I don't know if you are. It also looks like you're kind of flat. He's like, you know what I want you to do? He's like, go drink 2 liters of water. And I'm like, we're going on stage in like fucking an hour. What are you talking about? He's like, just go do it. And he's like, if you spill over, you're not going to spill over till after prejudging. He goes, we'll clean it up with a diuretic after.
Yeah.
So the problem with that show was I was too fat. So it wasn't the water, but the water did make me look better. Like I looked better when I got on stage.
Popped you more, so you looked a bit leaner for it.
Yeah. So it is a big deal. But I also think, if we're being completely honest, it's probably the GH too, right? Because when I'm on growth hormone, I feel like I retain more water in the muscle.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Man,
anyway, Ben, what's going on with you? You're quiet.
I can't move.
Why? Oh, you're training with those animals in Dallas.
Training with the Tampa champ.
It fucks me up, man. Like, so I don't have an adductor machine at home, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't done a set of adductors in 10, 11 months.
You're gonna be fucked.
I didn't sleep. Every time I moved, I'm like, oh my fucking God. And I'm drinking 2.5 gallons of water a day, right? Because of the kidney thing. So I'm pissing all night. So I'm like getting up and I'm like, oh, fuck. And my quads are trashed. It was good fun, but holy fuck, I wish I'd been like off season and
happy
had some fun with it. Not 3 weeks out and I've got Hunter screaming in my face. But I've got chess with him tomorrow again. I'm like, oh God,
that's great.
It's good fun. It's reset my mind because I've spent the last 8-9 months training literally on my own in an empty gym, and I lit a fire under my ass.
I can imagine.
I came back and I said to my wife, I was like, I train pretty hard, but no, I don't. No.
There's a level.
I fucking don't.
I think there's a level when you're around a bunch of guys and you have like a friendly competition or whatever. You guys are just egging each other on. There's a level you can take yourself to that you can't take yourself to by yourself.
The competition that I always find I have when I'm training with pros, like I'm very fortunate I've been able to train with a good number of guys. I don't try and be competitive in terms of keeping up with the weight, because some of the guys I'm training with are animals, right? Yeah. But if you keep up with the intensity, if you that's what's matching, and that's what's burying me. So I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, like I've got, normally I can't create that intensity. I can't create that intensity on my own.
I hear that.
Right? Like I can't squat to failure. I can't, there are a couple of things that I'm missing. That 4 or 5% at the end of a set that I like. Oh,
these boys are, giving you those 4 steps and all that shit. You're like.
It's just like I can tap in like on certain machines, I can go, but on some of the big compound lifts and like hacks and things like that, and the squatting, the rows, it's just a bit, and the bench press in particular, I just don't. I haven't got the.
It's just a different environment, man. It's like a pack of dogs.
It's environment.
It's like a pack of dogs, and everybody wants to be the fucking alpha, right? So everybody's gonna fucking train their ass off. And as far as like measuring training, like I've never trained with anybody and measured their how hard they train by weight. I always measure how hard they train by can they keep up. Like I don't care if I'm doing 3 plates and the guy next to me is doing 2 plates, but is he training as hard as I am?
There was a girl, like there's us guys, and then there was a group of the girlfriends and girls were training, and a couple of them were pros. One of them called Liv Raw. I put her up on my story doing the hack squat, and I just put on there, guys, like particularly my clients, take note. This is a fucking set. This is how you take a set to the end. And it's like, obviously Hunter's doing 10 plates, she's doing like 3, 4, 5, whatever plates she was doing. But she trained harder than any of us. Like she went to a different place.
I think women have a higher pain tolerance.
Because
I remember training with a couple girls back in the day, and I'm like, I'm gonna bury this fucking chick. And then I'm like, I'm dying by the end of the workout, and she's like, "Are we done?" Like she's like, "Is that it? Is that everything?"
Well, they're also not tapping their CNS quite like we do. There's a lot more muscle mass going on. They recover. Like a female's ability to recover is a lot better than a 280-pound bodybuilder, right?
Look, I'm just trying to repair my sexist, the sexist thing I have going on. So I'm trying to say something good about women. So
to be fair, though, the most like savage sets I've ever seen when it comes to like deadlifts or anything, always from women.
Yeah.
Like I've honestly seen like 20 rep sets with a really good weight, like on numerous women, which I never expected them to be able to do, and it just makes me realize, fuck me, because that's where pain kicks in, because like high rep deadlifts, everything's numb from the waist down, and they're still going. So it is, I think there's some truth to that, definitely. James,
how's your prep going? You're
really fucking good, man. Really
starting to look really sharp.
Oh, it's coming, mate. I'm feeling it. The pinch just kicked in a few days ago, I have to say.
What's the pinch? What does that mean?
Where it just starts to be like, oh, do you know what? I am fucking dieting.
Oh yeah.
Like monging out in the gym a bit. Like we were in the gym the other day training shoulders, and it was just silent. Like we were just all really quiet, because that's all I had. Like mentally, all I had. I just had to be quiet and get it done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like really enjoying that, because I know that that's the final hurdle almost. So I'm really looking forward to those last few days where you're like, yes, we're there. So there's a few weeks of work still to do, but it's definitely coming. And I think, like, I spoke to Patrick the other day, and he's like, we could have you ready in 2 weeks, but we're not going to.
Yeah. Because
obviously there's no need. So I'm just really confident because of the words he says. I don't know whether he just says nice things to make me feel confident, but he certainly knows how to make you feel very, confident, I suppose, going into a show. So it's done really well.
Isn't it cool how there's little cues along the way to remind you what you're doing? Yeah. Like, I know exactly what you mean. There's almost like a day where it hits you and you're like, fuck, I'm suffering, man. This fucking, but it's almost like you like it, like you feel it. And then you're like, okay, I know I'm doing something right.
Embrace it. Like, just embrace that, like being almost unable to be present.
Yeah.
When you're like, it's like you said, like today for you was a different day because you're in prep. That kind of same energy that you probably had today is the same energy that you have in the gym. It's a weird one. It's almost like a nervousness and a lack, and it's a little bit of an anxiety where decisions are hard to make, but you kind of just got to like pin yourself down and just do what you got to do. And that's where I love that, because that's what separates like the men from the boys. Because it's the bitches that get to this point that start fucking moaning that are the ones that don't make it through to the end the best they can.
That's right.
And then the guys like us who just fucking say, you know what, this is part of the fucking road. Let's just have it and embrace the shit. That's when you end up coming out the best you've ever been. So I don't know. I just feel like I'm at that turning point. I imagine, like you say, you feel pretty much the same because of the time period where we're all roughly the same amount of time out from the show now.
Well, the first cue came for me about 3 weeks ago. I couldn't handle Paul anymore. Like we would be like, I would go pick up Paul to go train. But for those of you who don't know, Paul's my training partner. And Paul likes to talk a lot. He gets in the car and like, hey, the weather's good. The weather's good today. What are we training? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it got to a point like 2 or 3 weeks ago where I just didn't want to talk anymore.
Yeah.
I would just pick him up. I'd be like, let's just go. And he'd be talking and I just be like one word answers.
Yeah.
And I realized that was like the first turning point where I was like, okay, I just don't have the energy to talk.
I start cancelling meets with people last minute. So, like they're like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then like 2 days before, oh, I'm really sorry guys, come up with some really bad excuse.
Yeah.
Like the worst, the most terrible excuses on earth. Like really, I should just say, look, I'm in prep and I don't like doing anything.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Like there's a massive show this weekend, the British finals, obviously, over here. So someone's going to get their pro card. And ideally I should be there tomorrow to support the show. But quite frankly, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
See, I'm usually like that, right? But I think because I'm so isolated here, Hunter came up this weekend, and Brian is Hunter's training partner. He's like, hey, let's, just come train with us. I'm like, it's been like invigorating. I'm like, fucking yeah. So like, I've gone out of my way. I've changed my schedule, which I never do. Like if I'm this close to a show, I'm like, I'm not doing anything extra, right? And fuck that. Now I'm like, I think because of the lockdown, being isolated, living as far as I do away, and then the fact that I haven't trained around people in so long, it's been like I've loved it. I mean,
it's refreshing.
Yeah. And I'm doing it next week. Like, I'm training. I'm very, very lucky. Like, so I've spent this week training with Hunter. Next week, I'm in Florida training with Flex.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I couldn't ask for a better like end of my prep to keep me motivated, right? To keep me going. I'm like, fuck, these guys are 15 weeks out from their Olympias.
Yeah.
Both of them are making their Olympia debuts, right?
I think that's a little different. I think I would probably, if there was a group of guys like, at a destination down, actually maybe not, because I go train with Dorian and those guys sometimes, and I'm like, I can't be bothered to drive there.
Yeah.
Lately,
it was an hour and 45 each way for me to get there. It's a trek,
Yeah, I can't. You know what? I'm probably more like James, because even my mom, like I usually go see my mom once a week, hang out, have a coffee, and like I haven't seen her in like 2 weeks, and she's like, "Hey, where the fuck are you?" And I'm like, I'm like, I'm not one for conversation right now, Ma. Just fucking,
we're the same.
We'll talk after I eat a pizza. We'll have a conversation.
I'm like that. Though. I managed to go to King's, obviously, which is up the road, and that's about it. Like, there's other good gyms around, obviously, as you know, Ben, like Muscle Works and stuff, and I love them. I think they're great. But I'll be damned if I go to a gym if it's more than 5 minutes from my fucking house right now.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like previously, where I was training, Luke and I would be at Muscle Works, so I go into a gym. There's tons of people around. Luke and I get on with our training. Like you guys you and Paul train for it, right? James and you train with Louis, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't had that, so I've been spending 8 months with a fucking donkey in the backyard and a rack, And so it's like, ordinarily, I tell everyone, fuck off. Like, I wouldn't train with Flex. I'd be like, no, I'm dead. I can't. There's no point. I'm not doing it, because I'm not going to keep up. It's worthless. Let's do it afterwards, right? But now I'm kind of just grabbing every opportunity I can because my soul needs that human interaction, As lovely as my wife is, sometimes I just need
the boys
extra, right?
You need the boys,
a little.
Yeah. You know what? I might feel like that in a few weeks' time because obviously Jannika's actually going back to Norway next week. So, I might be needing some man time.
But it's almost like just even if you go into the gym on your own or don't go and do your cardio, right? And there's other people, you don't talk to anyone, you got your headphones on and there's other people getting on with shit. It just, you feel like, oh, me too. You know, you just,
yeah.
But when I walk out there and I open up the gym, turn the lights on, and then I'm on the treadmill or the Stairmaster on my own, staring at a blank wall for 50 minutes. Yeah. It's sometimes a little harder for me.
I can see that. Because I know what you mean. Like, you feed off the energy of other people in the gym, even though you're not talking to them, you're not working out with them. Just their energy makes you train harder too. But it's weird. I'm becoming more and more like, for me, the closer I get to the show, the more isolated I get. I'm worried about this podcast. Like, probably in the next couple of weeks.
You're gonna slack it off.
We're gonna have to take a break. We'll be like, sorry guys, we need 4
Do you
weeks.
know what I have to say? I have to say the one thing I actually am enjoying is the talks with you boys, actually, because I know that you're both prepping. So I can tolerate you both. I feel like everyone else. I feel like people that aren't prepping right now might as well be a bunch of fucking wankers to me. Like, it's not the case, but I do. I look at it's almost like, who the fuck
you don't understand. You don't understand.
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly. You know, it's hilarious because you're like,
you're not one of us.
Yeah, you're like, well, because we were shooting the shit, but each of us knows exactly how the other ones. Like, we don't have to describe how you're feeling. You just kind of you just get it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I guess it's. I don't know.
If all three of us sat here and went into dead silence for like 2 minutes now, we'd all understand why. Do you know? We'd all be like, but they'd be fine because we get it.
I don't think the people listening would enjoy it, but
they wouldn't get it, but we would.
So the last week's podcast is going to be us just staring at the screen.
It'll be visual only.
Just put a screenshot. Just put a screenshot up, so we didn't even have to do it. Just do this, screenshot it, and then just put that up for 2 hours. Put it up for 2 hours, and then you'll still get 40,000 views.
How many people think you'd watch it?
More than you think.
You'd get some loyalists.
All right. So, okay, listen, let's kind of move on. I actually do want to get to a lot of questions today.
Yeah, cool.
But before we get to the questions, I want to, the Cali Pros this weekend. So we'll do another quick breakdown of the competitors and where we think, like we did last week for New York.
So Cali Vegas
the Cali Vegas Pro. Yeah. So Bodybuilders Without Borders, check them out on Instagram. It's a good page, does all the news. Anyway, this is the lineup. I'm sure there's probably maybe a couple people jumping in that aren't on here, but this is the one I got right now.
Yeah.
So I didn't know Ann was doing it, and I love his physique.
Can I say something too? I don't want this to come off poorly, but I watch Nick's Strength and Power channel, and I think he's really good at what he does, but I think he should keep his own opinions out of it sometimes. Because I don't know if he knows enough. Like, he was going down this list and all he picked out was Patrick Moore and Antoine and Stan DeLongo. And I'm like, you forgot On Win, you forgot Errol Moore, you forgot Eddie Bracamontes, you forgot like there's a bunch of people and I'm like, he delivers more to the armchair fan, right? No. Listen, I like his channel. I watch it myself. I just feel like sometimes he should pull his own opinion out and keep it as like the news only, because he does a really good job of the news.
I think he's more like, he's one of them that's more aware of the famous bodybuilders, but we are aware of the good bodybuilders. So like you just said there, Eddie's in top fives quite often.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I'm just saying, but what I mean is, like, if you're going to be the news guy and you want to try and inform people, then you should know, Eddie Bracamontes is a top 5 bodybuilder.
Yeah, he's very good.
Or you should know On Win, if he comes in shape, can win this whole show.
He got 3rd in Korea.
I love On Win's physique is amazing.
I love his shape. It's insane.
I'm looking forward. I know we're going to go into this, but I'm looking forward to seeing Joe Seaman.
That's the other one. Me and Ben talked about that yesterday. Yep. And he didn't mention him either. And Joe looks incredible right now.
Joe's freaky. Even last year,
so thick.
Joe is actually my dark horse for the show.
Yeah.
So okay, let's get into it. So the first person I pulled up was everybody's favorite, Antoine.
Mm-hmm.
So Antoine has been doing. I read something here on either on Dorian's page or his page. Dorian has him like loading really hard right now. So he's like
filling them up. Yeah.
Apparently he's doing like 1,000 grams of carbs a day right now, and he's just like filling up real hard. So how different do you think he's going to look from New York?
I don't think that different, because I think once you fill someone up, you're either going to start holding water and you're going to have to bring them down again, And if the more you're holding, the harsher you're going to have to bring yourself down. But Dorian is a very good coach. So Dorian has a plan. So even if he looks 2 or 3 pounds heavier after whatever he does, it will make a massive difference. Because we all agree he looked really good at the New York. It's just
this is what I wonder. This is what I wonder. These are I believe this is the night show.
Yeah, I think he looks great.
And I think he's full here. I don't think he's flat.
That's what I mean. I don't know if he can get fuller without costing some detail.
Conditioning. Yeah.
Because that's a good look.
Because that's what I'm wondering. Like I know in the morning people were saying he was flat and whatever.
So maybe it is just the evening show. Maybe he just wants to get him like that pre-judge.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so how do we think he's going to fare in this lineup if he shows up looking like this, or maybe 1 or 2% better?
I think top 3.
Yes. I can see him top
3rd or 4th. Yeah.
Okay, so then the next one I pulled out was Joe Seaman, who we were kind of going on about. This is my dark horse for the show.
He's got
dark horse to he's so thick and dense.
Dark horse to win. This is my dark horse to win.
Oh, right, that's what I was getting. Okay.
Yeah, because he's like, honestly, firstly, he's not missing any body parts. He's learned to control, because his knock originally was that his waist was thick, but he's learned to control it. As you can see, he's doing a vacuum here.
Fucking vacuum, yeah.
His ab and thigh is great. His side shots, stomach is in control. Like his conditioning is crazy. Like you can see his quads and hamstrings are all stripped already.
Yeah.
This is, and he's like 250, 260 pounds. So
yeah,
this is my guy. Well, this is the guy I think is going to make the biggest impact at the show.
I saw him obviously last year in Toronto where he placed like 4th.
Yeah.
And he could have been as high as, he could have fucking won it because honestly, like he had the most separation out of everybody and he was carrying probably the most muscle.
I wonder if that's going to happen to him again, only because of name recognition.
We'll see. I think he's had that year if the judges remember him, then I think they'll be very, very happy and place him high. It just depends, doesn't it? Because I don't know who the judges are.
Do you think? And I'm not saying this. I don't want anybody to misconstrue this as a political conversation.
Yep.
Do you think in human nature, as a judge, when you're looking and you see somebody like Joe, who's not very like well known and not very outspoken, and then you see somebody like Patrick Moore or Antoine or somebody's really popular, do you think that human nature wise, you just kind of draw to that person, you might place them higher, or do you think they're able to separate that?
I think it depends on the head judge, because the head judge I don't know how it works. Because if the head judge makes the call for these 5 and Joe isn't in that 5, but he should be, that's where I wonder. You know what I mean?
The head judge only calls out who he wants to see, but he doesn't score.
Yeah. I'm not saying that, but I mean, if he only wants to see, say, like 3 people.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And Joe's not in that 3, but he should be. That's where then they've only got a certain amount, like they're getting a certain amount of eye time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
I think human bias is inevitable. You can't avoid it on a subconscious level. They're not thinking, "Oh, that's Patrick," but you can't help but.
Can I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ben. Look at this difference though from last year.
That's a year, is it? Holy
wait.
shit.
Wait. This is 2017. Prep at 258, 2 weeks out on the left. On the right was earlier this week at 272. 3.5. This was 3.5 weeks out. He was looking like this.
Yeah.
God damn.
That looks like a week out. Like you can see his split between his glutes
and
his hands.
He gets nasty, especially in the lower body from the back.
And you can see his skin is like, it's thinner here, and he's bigger and heavier, and his quad is thicker. It's like,
if I think Joe's just got a different shape that they need to get used to, and once they're used to it, then he'll be getting what he deserves. Because, like you say, he's not traditionally shaped.
Well, it's because I think he's just a little bit thicker through this box.
Right? But again, with him, I think he's added so much muscle everywhere that you got to reward the guy.
Well, this is the thing. I think he's added so much muscle that his waist doesn't look bad anymore.
That's what I'm saying. I think he looks great.
Like, I mean, we're looking at it here. This doesn't look like a big waist to me.
No.
It's not like Dexter Jackson, but it's not a big waist. It's not a big waist by any means.
To be fair, his pecs and clavicles are so wide. That's what I'm looking at his chest. I'm just like, fucking hell.
This is so expansive. It's really wide. He's just a very wide person.
The back is.
I'm obviously nuts. Like heavily rooting for Joe because I am friends with Joe, and obviously he works with Patrick as well. So there's a bit of bias there.
I don't know Joe at all. I've never talked to him. I've talked to him like once or twice in a DM, but like, I just think he's done amazing shit with his physique.
You don't even follow him.
He just works hard. He doesn't
Oh,
yeah, but you know what's like when you're famous.
Fuck you, Fouad.
When you're famous,
fuck you, telling everyone.
All right, here we go. Click. Follow. Now I'm following him. Fuck
hey.
Wait. In fairness, he wasn't following you either because he didn't say follow back.
Ah, that's right. Fuck
he
you.
will now. No.
Oh, we're gonna see his DMs.
Yeah, let's not see his DMs. Could be some naughty words there.
How do I unfollow? I gotta
unfollow.
No, don't.
Okay. I'm not gonna.
No.
He has to now. If he doesn't follow you back after this episode, that's terrible.
Then fuck that guy. We'll follow him.
Yeah, Joe. Fuck you if you don't follow me back after I
follow that, bro.
Sung your praises for fucking 5 minutes. Okay. Anyway, so we'll move on. Like I said, this is my dark horse for the show. So we'll move on. Next
mine too as well.
On Win is the other one that is
I love this guy.
Flying under the radar only because I think he gets a knock because he always is not like 100% shredded. He's always like a little. He's always holding a little bit on stage, like here, right? You can see he's got a ton of muscle. He reminds me. He reminds me of fucking Jason Ha.
Yeah.
Got that same round muscle, and I'm not saying that because they're both Asian. Racist, don't start with the fucking
racist. Same face.
Same eyes. They're exactly the same.
I knew. As soon as I said it, I was like, "Oh fuck." But no, seriously though, look at the pecs. The way they hang, it's like just like kind of like Jason Hutt, and the leg is like real fucking.
I saw. Oh, James, we were at the Cali 2 years ago, the 18, and he was competing then. Yeah, fucking hell, he blew me away when he was on stage. His shape is lovely.
Look at this.
Is that shot? Is that kind of that most muscular without it being closed?
Yeah.
He does like a front crab, but not leant over, and it just looks really nice.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find some more. So this is.
I love the lighting of that show.
Oh, this is the Korean. Is this a Korean show? Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
So the shape is incredible, but this is what I'm talking about. See, there's like a film. It's like not 100% grainy. There's like a film, of, like maybe fat or water. I don't know, but like
he's close, just not quite.
Yeah, he needs like 5% more.
His shape kills me. Honestly, I just love his shape.
Yeah, he's incredible. I've always the first time I saw him, I was like, "Who is this guy?" And then it's I don't know if it's a genetic thing or if it's like, I never want to say somebody doesn't work hard enough, but he just has a little bit further to go to get that real hard conditioning. He's almost there. He's almost there. Like everything's split. It's just I don't know what it is. It's like look at the calves too, and the quad from the back. He's just crazy muscularity.
I'm really liking unique shaped bodybuilders at the minute. The ones that are like breaking the mold in the regular boring shape. Like I don't know what regular boring shape is, but these guys are certainly different. And I find
his silhouette.
It's so good.
His silhouette is amazing.
Love it.
Like the beginning of that video, if you pause it before the light comes up properly, it's like dopey. It's just that bubbly round.
Look at this. Look at this tricep just pop off here. I think I just noticed though when he was posing, I think I noticed where the weak point is. I think his back isn't as good as the rest of his physique.
Okay.
I'm not just watch. He's gonna do a back double. He's gonna do a back double bicep here, and you can see the muscularity.
Yeah, because the lat spread looked good, so maybe it might be the back double.
But you can always spot.
Someone like Joe, he's going to look pretty small, I think, because he's not a big person.
So watch. So there, the back looks good.
Yeah.
But I mean, compared to the legs, James, that's what I'm talking about, right? Look at his legs.
Oh yeah. Nah.
Right, his legs look humongous, and then if you see this.
Yeah, it's because the legs.
You know what? His lower body from the rear like that reminds me of Luke.
Yeah,
I could see that. Yeah. See what I mean there? That's a finished pose.
Yeah, he's not quite got the meat on the back.
Yeah.
But his highlight is made more obvious because the lower half is
so
dense.
big. Yeah.
So big and so thick.
Oh, that's finished. Sorry.
Give him Dorian's back, mate, and he'd be wiping the floor of everyone.
Fuck, if you put Dorian's back on him, he wouldn't lose a show.
Because imagine Dorian with his lower body.
So you know what's really strange? I always found too. My back is like pretty good from the back, but from the front, it sucks.
Yeah, and there's other people that have really good lats from the front and terrible from the back.
This is what I'm talking about. Look at his lats here.
Popping.
His lats are like popping off from the front, but then from the back, it's not as
But he also has a tiny waist. Like
what are you saying? What are you saying? I got a big waist.
Your words, not mine.
It's the hips. It's like it's his actual hips. Like they're so small.
You're such a fucking asshole.
I suppose you know what it is as well. Like genetically, you know, the Asian chaps have got smaller bone structures, so
yes.
the hips are nowhere near as wide.
Yeah. This is like Ben. If Ben put on
Ben, you got a small waist, didn't you?
If Ben put on 30 pounds of muscle, this is what he'd look like.
Ben's just got abnormal height.
If I trained, then I'd look like that.
Yeah. All right. After on win, who else did I pull out here?
Eddie
Moore.
Patrick
Moore. I pulled out Patrick Moore. Where do we think Patrick is going to? How do we think he's going to do in this lineup? I think Patrick is honestly like, if Hassan doesn't come in shape, I think Patrick could win the show.
Yeah, he could because he's won it before, and
well, he beat everybody in this lineup. Oh wait, I think Justin's doing the fucking Cali too.
If Justin's doing Cali and repeats what he looked like, he should win.
That's true. That's you know what? I forgot about Justin.
Justin he only just lost to Ian.
Well, Justin's not on the list. That's why I forgot about him. But I just remembered I saw something yesterday that said he was doing it.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't do it. Like if he comes second. And
so before we go to Justin, let's go back to Patrick. Who can beat Patrick other than Justin?
I think Joe can beat Patrick if he's. I think Joe can beat Patrick. I think Ann Newman can beat Patrick. I think Patrick is very beatable.
So we think, but I don't think On Win will beat him only because
we haven't seen On this year though.
I haven't seen On Win in shape.
That's what I'm saying.
I think Ann could win or has the potential to win, but I don't think he will beat Patrick.
That's what I'm saying. That's what my point is. Like,
I feel like Patrick always comes in close to his 100% and others don't, and that's why he's done well because he's consistent at coming in shape. Where some of the other guys are actually potentially better, they just haven't nailed it. So for me, it's like if a few of these guys nail it, then they'll actually change the role reversal in their favor. But they need to nail it.
Well, let's go with percentages though. So On Win hasn't nailed it like as hard as Patrick has.
No, he hasn't. But if he does a Luke 2019 Arnold's,
wait, but we're not. Okay, well that's your prediction. So your prediction is he could come in shape and win.
Yeah.
Or beat Patrick. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Patrick is harder than On. So Patrick gets placed ahead.
Yeah.
As far as Joe Seaman goes, I think Joe Seaman can beat Patrick Moore. I just don't know if the judges will let him because Patrick is so well known. I don't mean that politically. I just mean like.
No, I know what you mean. It's just because of human consciousness.
Yeah, we were talking about like human nature, right? Like they might just.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. I hope it's obviously you always hope it's fair, right? You always, but I think if you're completely objective about it, Joe, I'd give it to Joe. Off of what we just seen.
Yeah.
I put my money on Joe right now over Patrick.
Does Antoine,
just those two?
Does Antoine beat Patrick?
No.
Again, this is preference.
Patrick's more complete. There's more holes. There's more things missing.
I don't know
like we were talking about.
Because Antoine's a taller guy, so he needs to fill that frame out more.
Yeah, whereas Patrick, he hasn't got this overall size, but he's well proportioned and put together for that size. I agree.
So
I think as an overall look, Patrick has a better overall look. He's just not as big as some of the other guys, right?
I can agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with that.
I'm trying to be the guy that's like, no, Antoine can beat him.
So it sounds like we're saying Patrick.
You said Patrick.
It sounds like we're saying Patrick's like third or fourth. Because if we have Justin first and we have Joe Seaman second so far.
Yeah, I'm third.
Well, we got Max Charles here, boys.
Well, okay, let's move on to the next person. So I got Errol Moore here. I don't know.
He won a show. No, he didn't win a show. Sorry, he's not who I thought it was.
He's a little lighter compared to the other guys.
Yeah, I think he's maybe too small to contend for the top three.
Yeah.
He's got a great shape though, but I just feel like he's still got to you got to get a little bit bigger to hang out.
Yeah. I feel like I want to say I saw him do the Indy last year.
He just competed. He competed last week, I think, didn't he? Didn't you do
No,
New York?
I'm saying I think I'm saying I think I
That's the
saw
gym in
him
New
in
York.
person. No, you're missing it. I think I saw him compete in person at the Indy
Oh,
Pro.
okay, okay.
If it's
Oh,
the same
212.
guy
He
I'm
was
thinking of.
212.
Yeah, but I think
Yes,
he's
he
doing the
did
Open
the
now.
Indy.
I thought so.
Yeah, so he did the 212 last week. He's doing Open now.
Okay, well, he's gonna get smoked.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to Hassan. And is Hassan going to be in shape? He's in the hospital right now.
They said
dehydrated.
they've cleared him to compete. So
that doesn't mean it means he's going to.
No, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, at one point yesterday, it wasn't.
No,
they weren't sure.
I know what you're saying. I'm saying, is he going to be able to bounce back and be in shape?
Maybe he's really dry now. So we'll see.
I'm going to say
it's a tough ask. Put it that way.
I'm going to say that Hassan ends up showing up in this same shape here as he is here, or worse.
Yeah,
if he turns up in the same shape, I'll be impressed, given everything that's gone on.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I think there's just too much. I know, man, the week of a show, there's so much going on, like, to handle being in the hospital and then getting out and getting on stage. I just don't know if he can beat this shape. And this was a little off as far as people were concerned.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he can better his look. In fact, I don't think he can beat what he looked like last week.
So where does that put him again? Third or fourth or fifth or what?
Maybe a bit lower, yeah. Probably
maybe if we're looking at Max, the Max would probably leapfrog him, right?
So we have Max here that's looking to make up for his New York and probably place a little higher. So can Max beat Joe Seaman?
No, Joe's back's too good.
Yeah, I think Joe's got the areas that Max.
I'm going to go with, honestly, and I know people aren't going to like this, but I think if we went shot for shot, I feel like Joe could be better. I have to see them next to each other, but I don't think the judges are going to let Joe beat Max. I feel like there is a rite of passage in this sport, and I don't feel like an unknown gets to come in and beat a vet unless he's like phenomenal.
Yeah, unless he's Phil Heath.
He might if Joe's all there and he's in shape.
I'm gonna go on the record and say it's gonna be Justin and Max 1 and 2.
I'm gonna say
fair analysis.
I don't think they're gonna let Joe Seaman beat Max, even if he's better.
Yeah, I don't know which way around. I reckon Justin, Max, then Joe will be the top 3. From what we're.
Yeah, I'd like Joe to get top 3.
I
could see. Let me see this list again. Can we see Joe in third?
It's the debate is whether Patrick beats Joe or not.
I think Joe's lower body's much better than Max's as well. His quad sweep's way fuller and broader.
Yeah, but we've already established that we're not talking about necessarily physique.
We're just saying what will happen.
Because I think Joe has better lower body and a better back, which is the two biggest things to look at, right? But
if I'm judging it, I go. I'm going to predict what I see. I'm going to say Justin, Joe, Max, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with what the judges are gonna do, which is Justin, Max, yeah, and then Justin, Max, Patrick, and then Joe. I just don't think. I just feel like there's something that happens to guys that are very quiet and very unknown, and they have to work a little harder to prove themselves.
Well, yeah, if that is the case, and if they're taking notice, then Milos caused a bit of a stink about Max, right? So his name is being in their head, right?
Where do we put Eddie in this line? Does Eddie beat Joe Seaman? That's a bad shot.
I don't think he does, because the only reason being, and this is just off, I've beaten Eddie before and Joe beat me.
Yeah, I feel like Eddie.
So I'm just saying on based on where I think they fall at the minute. I think Eddie's fantastic, but I just think Joe has kind of got everything that Eddie looks great there, to be fair. Like the fucking structure is pretty nuts. But I just think Joe's.
It's a nice shot from him.
I don't know. Joe is deadly. I know how deadly Joe is firsthand.
I think Eddie is a big guy and he has good body parts, but something about his physique doesn't flow.
It's not pretty.
I think it's his legs. They're big, but they're not round, and the separation's not deep, right? Like it's weird. Like if you look at his chest, you see it's cross-striated, but then his legs look like they're not. Like they're.
How old? Do we know how old Eddie is? Out of curiosity, is he an old guy?
I believe he's in his mid-30s.
Okay.
Like I'd have to say 35 at least.
Yeah.
Because we were on Team SciTech together, and he works really hard, and he's on the ball with his meals and everything, and he's got a ton of muscle. It just
loads. He's got some of the widest shoulders.
I just don't know if it fits together as well as some of the other guys in the lineup. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's just the details within the muscles, some of the separation that others have that he might not.
Yeah. There's not really a ton of progress pictures to show, I guess, but
no, but he is very good. Like fuck me, he is very good.
But do you see what I'm saying here? Like in this shot, like this so round in the chest and the shoulders and the back, but then the legs don't have that same roundness. See here, it's kind of like these lats are popping off, the shoulders are popping off, but the legs don't have that same sweep.
Yeah.
Even from the side, you see this, like James, when you do a side shot, your leg goes like this, like it's like there's like a sweep to it, right?
Photoshop.
Here it's Photoshop. I just feel like that's that only knock I can make on his physique, and then the separation in the legs isn't as deep either. It just
we're here to make knocks, aren't we? We're here to try and be as strict as possible on what our predictions are. So it's all good. It's all good. You know.
I'm only comparing. Look, I don't know if I can beat him. I'm just comparing him to the guys in the
lineup. We're just saying
what's in the lineup, right?
Yeah.
The guys in the lineup are very good. Like Max is going to come in 100% peeled. Patrick is very, very well put together, and he's probably going to be in shape again. Joe Seaman has put on a ton of muscle, and
in shape.
I mean, he's got all the tools, man. So I'm gonna go. So where do we put Antoine then? Is Antoine's behind Patrick, or is he behind Joe Seaman?
I got Joe ahead of Patrick, and then Patrick ahead of Antoine.
So you have Justin, Max, Joe.
No. I got what I think should happen. Is
not what you think. Not what you think should happen. What do you think is going to happen?
Justin, Max, Joe, Patrick, Antoine, Hassan.
Justin, Max, Joe, I'm going to go the same thing, except I'm going to reverse Patrick and Joe because I don't. Again, I'm only saying this because I'm playing the vet card. I feel like the guys who are more well-known are going to get a little more favoritism. James, what do you think?
So I'm going to go that it's going to be a total fucking freak show, and no one's going to realize, but Joe's going to come in, take the win.
You're just fucking being nice that he's on your team.
No, listen.
Like
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do
Patrick
that.
Tour.
No, do you know why I do that? Because I'm going to do that because if it is going to go another way than what you two have predicted, it has to be totally the opposite. It has to be that no one's name gets fucking credit.
Wait a minute.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Listen, I give Joe Seaman all the credit in the world.
Yeah, I'm just.
But I don't know if he beats. I don't know if he beats Justin.
No, I don't know if he does. But I'm just going to be the one guy here out of the three of us that says Joe, come in and stomp the show. Because if he does,
then you'll sound like a genius. You'll be like, I said it.
I'll be that guy. I'll be that guy that fucking predicted it right.
All right.
I don't want to say the same as you two because you two.
That's fine.
It's too similar. I got to be fucking different for today.
You know what though? To be honest, if we're not talking about judging favoritism, vets, and all this shit, Joe has the potential to win. Like if we're just talking about strictly physiques, Joe has the potential to win the show.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Anyway, let's get on to some questions.
All right. I think Ben went to the loo. Oh, he's back.
Yeah. Sorry, I was.
All right. We're going to get on to some questions. Before we get on to the questions, this guy Vincenzo, he's a fan of the show. He asked me if I could get some OGs on the show, like Dorian or Lee Haney or any of the 90s guys. And I said no. I just want to make this perfectly clear. I don't want to ever promote anybody who talks shit about bodybuilding. So I feel like a lot of the guys, a lot of the vets right now are not doing a good job of talking well about today's bodybuilders or talking well about today's bodybuilding. And it's more negative than anything. And the last thing on earth I want to do is have somebody on the show and debate the 90s versus now. It's a dead and tired debate.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fucking have it with anybody. I'd rather just promote the guys like Justin that are on stage right now, and guys like James and guys like Reagan and guys that are like competing, like Ian, and the guys who have passion that are doing it now. And I don't want to bring people on the show that are going to talk shit or.
Do you know what as well? Like before, we appreciate it, and I appreciate it being someone now, because it does take some steam out of you when people from past years talk badly of your generation.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like it's wind out of your sails, and you're trying to continue doing what they fucking were doing back then, and you're trying to do it well. And if you're just getting knocked for it, you almost think, why would I fucking even bother ever even mentioning your name?
Yeah, I just think I think it's wrong, man. I just think it's wrong.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I think in 10 years, when I'm done and gone and gone from the stage, I've never compete again. If I'm still doing podcasting or I'm still doing commentating or whatever, I'll never, ever say, oh, back in my day, it was better and we were harder and we were this and we were that. And I'm like, no, I'll fucking be like, I think it's always best to promote the new guys. And if you have a constructive criticism, give a constructive criticism, but don't
help them get better.
Like when Dorian Yates goes on Generation Iron and he says things like, these guys have no passion. I'm like, how do you fucking I asked Ian and Ian says like, how do you know my passion? How do you know how much passion I have? How do you know how much I actually care or how hard I'm training? How do you know? It's like, anyway, I have no interest in having that debate with anybody.
I get that, man. And I agree totally. Because if it doesn't matter who I don't care how many Olympians you want. If you told me I don't have passion, you get fucking slapped.
Yeah.
Because that's a bullshit comment, because maybe we didn't reach the success you did, but it doesn't mean that the effort and the drive and the love for what we do wasn't just as high. It's just the result didn't come out the same. And I think you can't just base everything off your result. Oh, I won 6, so I must have been more passionate. That's bullshit. And I'm not saying Dorian said that. I'm just saying, if that was an excuse, because I won 6, I must have cared more. That's absolute fucking bollocks.
Well, these are the kind of things that Generation Iron's putting out constantly, and it seems like all they do is call a '90s guy, like Kevin Levrone or Dorian Yates, and they put him on the spot, and they make him say, and they make him say something shitty like that, and I'm like, that's not what I want to do. I don't. It's not what my show's about. So anyway, I just thought I'd cover that. Anyway, onto the questions. Would you rather have to drink water out of a shot glass for your entire life, or be allowed to eat with chopsticks, or only be allowed to eat with chopsticks for the rest of your life?
I think the water with a shot glass. Sorry.
Ben, you're used to eating with chopsticks anyway, aren't you?
I'm fucking handy, man. Don't worry, give me the chopsticks. Load me up. I can get any meal in with chopsticks.
I can't.
All right. Well, are you going to drink water out of a shot glass, James?
Yeah, that's not even bad. That's all right.
What do you mean? Dude, when I drink water, I would guzzle like 1.5 liters. You got to eat this little shot glass. You got to keep refilling it.
Yeah, but fucking chopsticks, mate.
I can use chopsticks. I use them for
I'm
sushi all the time.
I can't. I'm terrible with them. I can't. I'm spastic hands, so I can't. Honestly, no way.
I want to see. You should make a YouTube video drinking water out of a shot glass for one whole day, and see how annoying it is.
Okay. Imagine having your intro workout. In between each set, like a sip of cluster bomb or you're hostile, like a little, You know what I mean? No big mouth shakers allowed.
That's fucking hilarious. Anyway, I'm going with chopsticks, but okay. What's your take on Jordan Peters' style of training? Jordan has said he doesn't, I don't know, Jordan's passed to come on the show, but I think, James, you worked with JP. How do you feel about his style of training?
Training's good. It's regulated. It's not, people think that people were like really set in one way, which you couldn't be further from the truth. Like even Jordan, if you work with someone like Jordan, you're getting ready for a competition, everything's regulated depending on the amount of recovery, output, and all that bullshit that you have. So although there's principles in place, it's like any other training, it's adjusted to suit. So nothing's set. It's not like you have to do this. I think people think that someone like Jordan's like, you have to beat the logbook every time. You have to beat the logbook every time. It's not even that. It's like you have to try.
Yeah.
So just try hard. Like, all that Jordan really cares about is effort in your training. And that's what we said earlier about effort. It's not that you have to be fucking stronger every week you go in the gym. So I think Jordan's got really good philosophies of training. I think even more so than that, he's very good at knowing how to do movements well. So free weight movements when they need to be performed. If you're trying to get good cues or good form, he's excellent.
Do you think your strength a lot? I don't know for sure how long you worked with him, James. Did you work with him as a coach or no?
Yeah. He got my pro card.
Do you think working with him is what got your strength to where it is?
No, I was strong before. But I trained too much to really show it, because I would be doing multiple sets of a certain amount of weight and wouldn't ever be able to get into that parameter of super heavy because I'd be doing too much.
Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. Maybe if I just scale back, I'll start squatting 7 plates.
But in truth, not like saying it will be, but it would. That is how you get there. That is essentially how you do.
It's too late for me. I'm not going to start trying to do that.
I wouldn't bother anyway, man.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Yeah, fuck that
Well,
shit.
I feel like there's a lot of like, especially pros, guys that are big boys, their numbers would be higher if they did an absolute set, if they adopted their warm-ups differently. But they're doing the traditional. They're fatiguing for 3, 4, 5 sets.
Yeah. Before we get to the heavy, before we get
That's
to
what it is. Yeah.
Like, you look at like Luke and James and their top sets. Some of those guys, I mean, James is phenomenally strong, don't get me wrong. But there are some guys out there, like, holy shit, Joe Mackey.
Yeah.
Did you see him deadlift 800 pounds the other day on his off day?
No.
There you go.
So he just casually pulled 800 pounds because he was bored between clients or something. And
What the fuck? Wow.
And the day before that, he put up 405 on the incline press for a set of 10.
Wow.
And he's lean. He's in shape.
Yeah.
Freak.
How to avoid rebound excess weight gain post show? Don't pig out like a slob. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's not really hard, right? Just.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we're getting technical, just keep your diet, add some food, have a cheat meal every other day or something like that. Don't go crazy.
I like he said it's not that hard, but I know that all three of us have done it.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Let me rephrase. It's not that hard on paper.
Don't start. Yeah.
It's not
that hard if you don't start doing it. Like, because you know that once you start, let's say you do go out and you have like a couple of meals, you're like, fuck it, next day, let's keep going. Third day, let's keep going. Oh.
Listen, but I'm not trying to stop myself. Like, if I put on 50 pounds in a week, I'm like, that was a good week.
I love it. Oh, it's brilliant.
If you all competed naturally, what do you think your limits would have been? Who cares? Naturally sucks. Tips for bringing up lagging body parts like hamstrings, increasing training frequency, intensity, how to catch up on lagging body parts while wanting everything else to grow continually as well. Any tips for bringing up hamstrings, James or Ben? Well, Ben, you finish eating. James?
The biggest confusion people make is they want to bring up like lagging body parts when they're on their way down into a show. So the first thing I'm going to say is that you do need to be in that surplus because you're trying to put new muscle on.
Yes.
So you can't get rid of the fact that you're trying to make everything grow. You know, your whole body needs to grow.
Yeah.
So you do need to be in that surplus. But what I would say is the most important thing that I've noticed myself is probably just choosing the right exercises for you.
Let me ask you specific on that one.
Yep.
When you say choosing the right exercises for you, do you mean mechanically, or do you mean like if I can feel something more than something else, that should be the exercise I stick with?
I would say bodybuilding is very instinctive, and I would say the majority of the progress I make on movements is when I feel it.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say like if you feel hamstring curls, don't feel like you've got to do RDLs and fucking glute ham raises as well. Just do a shitload of variety of curls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the other question I have is, especially when it comes to hamstrings, because I've had this problem too. Listen, when I do hamstrings, it's crazy. I get like a really, really crazy pump really fast, right? And usually when you have a muscle like that pumps up really fast so you can feel a lot, it's usually a strong body part. Like for me, it's like chest, right?
Yeah.
My hamstrings, even though I feel them really quickly and they get pumped really good, they're not spectacular. They're just regular fucking hamstrings. They're not anything special. So like, I'm going to ask the same question this guy's asking. What is it? Should he train hamstrings more? Like maybe twice a week? Should he train hamstrings heavier with lower intensity? Like what is the recipe for this guy is what I'm trying to say.
Here's what I'd say. and it's under the assumption that you're not a newbie, right? So
yeah,
whatever you have been doing isn't working.
Mm.
So if you're doing high reps on a leg curl or whatever, and that's been working for everything else on your say quads or whatever, but it's not working for your hamstrings, you need to change that parameter, right?
Okay.
Because just doing more of it more often isn't working, because it hasn't worked to this point. So if you've been low rep, like a very high weight, low rep range, then maybe you need to adjust that rep range and take the muscle into a different environment than it's used to, because it's clearly not responding to what you have been doing. This, again, under the assumption that you're executing correctly, right?
So you're saying change the stimulus,
right?
Okay, Ben.
You have a lagging body part, and everything else is improving. Change that one lagging body part. Change the parameter. Change the stimulus.
James, would you agree with that?
Yeah, mine would come from encouraging the connection with that muscle to be even greater. So I would put intensifiers. I wouldn't up the frequency of training that body part, but I certainly would incorporate more intensifiers. So I would do more rest pause, and I would do more time under tension. Anything to strengthen that relationship between you and that muscle group, to make that bond stronger, so that in time it becomes one of your strongest body parts in terms of like mental capacity as well.
Can I say something I think I got from Jason Huh?
Yeah.
Which I never really employed because I'm fucking lazy.
Yeah, go on.
But Jason said in one of his posts or something, I can't remember if I was talking to him, I don't remember, but he said that stretching his hamstrings is why he has such crazy hamstrings. He said literally making sure his hamstrings are stretched out to the max. And I think he applies that to all body parts, which is kind of what Dante says also.
Yeah.
Stretch under load. But that's what I remember Jason either writing an article or talking to somebody about his hamstrings being the size they were because he stretched them so much. So is there any truth to stretching a muscle increasing the volume?
I think so. If you look at calves, if you look at people with good calves, most people I know with exceptional calves, when they train them, they stretch them between sets.
Most people I know with exceptional calves were born with them or they're fat.
Yeah, but I've noticed even the fat people, or the like ones that have got good calves genetically, when they train, they have a habit for in between sets stretching them because they are good, so they get tight.
You know what? You're right. Because, okay, so this is a dilemma. So when I train back, I stretch my back a lot. Like between sets, I'll always be pulling on something.
Yeah.
And my back was one of my best body parts, or is still, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, it grew faster than other body parts. But I've also read that you don't want to stretch a muscle statically before or during training because it weakens the muscle. So
you're talking about performance, not growth.
During, it's fine.
You know what I mean?
Like, I don't do before, but during, 100%. Like,
you will detract from some elastic potential of that muscle, right?
Right.
But we're not trying to. You're not trying to sprint, or you're not a powerlifter. You're trying to.
Okay, so
an environment.
So you might lose a little bit of strength, but it's okay because we're not trying to powerlift.
No, trying to maximize hypertrophy.
I mean, going back to, there's a phenomenon where they did a study on if someone like breaks their arm, right, and they cast their arm.
Yeah.
So if they cast their arm in the flex position, right?
Yeah.
There's less muscle atrophy in the tricep because it's in a stretched position.
Out, yeah.
But with the bicep will atrophy more. With the cast you in a straight arm position,
it's a
the bicep loses a little less than the triceps in the short position too.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Ben. Is it dangerous? Let's say I'm training chest, or let's say I'm training biceps, and I start doing like this stretch, and I'm stretching it out. And is it dangerous to do between sets?
I would limit it between sets. I would always put it. Luke and I always used to do the Dante thing, right?
Which is
crash a muscle. You'd wreck a muscle. When you're done with the muscle, you go into a heavy stretch for 60 to 90 seconds, right? I know Dusty does the same thing.
Yeah.
It's when you're all done and dusted.
Wait a minute. Is that after each exercise, or is that at the end of the
No. It's the end. So you do incline bench, dumbbells, flies, dips.
Yeah, you do your whole chest workout. Yeah.
Then you go, and we used to get on a bench to say chest, get like, I don't know, 100-pound dumbbells, and we just let it pin us.
Stretch it out. Yeah. Okay, that's good advice. Oh, you were talking about adductors. I haven't trained adductors in like 10 fucking years.
So I spent all morning trying to find an adductor machine. So to go back off topic, because I was training with Hunter and etc. I went and spent $5,000 on new gym equipment when I got back.
But wait a minute. My point is it really important? Like, I haven't trained adductors ever.
Yeah, I think they make a massive look to your leg on stage.
My legs are pretty good. I don't fucking think I need to do adductors.
Just because you haven't had to do that doesn't mean that other people don't.
Okay. Yeah, and who's to say they could be even better? They could be even better.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I could have humongous legs.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna start
rhinoceros legs.
If I start doing adductors today, how big do you think my legs will get before the show?
Rhinoceros.
You're not growing. You're not growing shit now.
Okay. When and how do you like to implement bands? I'm gonna say it's just like any other intensifier. You have to plan it before the workout. 1 or 2 exercises, right?
Yeah, I only ever really use bands on 2 things, and that's either a leg press when I do the banded regular to make it harder on the lockout.
Yeah.
Or a reverse band if a hack is a really shitty one that's bad for your knees.
You know why I like the leg press one? It's not for the lockout. I like it for the negative.
I like it because you don't have to load as many fucking plates.
The band is pulling down on me, and it makes me control the negative even more so than I would normally.
Yeah, you don't.
And I feel like I get more out of the movement because the negative is pulling on me so hard.
We used to strap the big white Elite FTS band on, the real fucking heavy one.
That's thick as fuck, yeah.
So we didn't have to put like 15 plates aside on. We were like, we'd warm up and then we'd be like, because we'd be kind of into our workout, we're like, we're good to go, right? Yeah, let's just put the band on now. You don't have to spend 20 minutes putting plates on.
Yeah, but then
it saves a lot of fucking around.
Yeah, but then you go from it's like going from 7 plates to like 12 in one shot because the band is so thick.
We're already good to go, you know.
Yeah.
Also,
so when are we saying to implement? What are we saying to implement bands?
So bands, you do need to be careful with.
Why?
Because the way the joint. So I don't want to go too technical.
Just
with it,
give me the short. Give me the cliff notes. Don't give me the bend notes.
You have little sensors in the muscle which detect stretch.
Yeah.
Right, and they're used to conventional load, not elastic load. And so when you get elastic load, you can get a lot of tendon damage because the muscle doesn't really know what to do at the end range.
I see.
And so it's kind of switching on and off because the band tension is like elastic and it's kind of tugging.
Yeah.
And it's not conventional load. So you can use them, but I wouldn't overuse them. Overusing them, people tend to get tendonitis.
Can I say honestly, I don't think I've ever used the really thick bands. I use the thinner bands, and it's really just to create a little bit of negative tension or constant tension. I don't think you need to do to get the benefit of bands to me is just to get the constant tension. And I don't think you need the thickest band you could find to get that tension. You can get it by if you put 10 plates on a leg press and then you put, that thinner black band and you might double it. Yeah. You can get that tension you're looking for. It's not going to be
the green and the blues are nice. Like those 2 sets, they work really well.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't really use them for more weight. I use them just for added tension. Yeah. So
you shift the feel of the movement rather than rely on it for the load.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
Trading and eating natural versus enhanced. I don't know, man. It's
all the fucking same.
It's the same shit. Don't overthink it.
Eat shit, sleep, and fucking do it on repeat.
How can I improve my insulin sensitivity? I thought that was a good question. Anybody?
Cardiovascular exercise is great. Eating well.
I think a low carb day, like either a couple low carb days or no carb days, will help reset.
Train hard.
John likes to do a fasting day where he does if he really, really wants to reset it, he'll do one day where it's like a 24-hour fast.
Yeah.
That's healthy. I don't think it's conducive to optimal bodybuilding.
No. I would just do lower carbs for a couple days.
My first step, if I was trying to improve insulin sensitivity, would be to remove carbs from the last meal of the day if you haven't already, and then I would probably look at. Then I'd probably look, if you're in an off season, berberine is a very good product to use that helps. Aside from carb manipulation, I'm not saying I am agreeing with you. I would manipulate carbs and then add in something like berberine or chromium. They're good.
And I would say do the big exercises that are demanding on the body to create the need for your body to process foods like that.
Yeah.
So don't shy away from the squats, the deadlifts, the T-bar rows, the barbell rows, the bench press. And because I know that sounds like not very important, but over a week of hard labor with weights, if you can build that kind of demand, your body's going to become much more efficient than someone who just goes into Planet Fitness and plays with some machines.
No, man, that combination is the combination. What you guys are both saying, training your fucking ass off and actually depleting the glycogen, and then having low carbs at the same time, is going to make your body demand more.
I have a literal anecdotal evidence for this today. So I recently have been testing because of my kidney thing and everything, I've been testing my blood sugar, right?
Yeah.
Well, my fasted blood glucose this morning was the lowest it's been, even though yesterday was a slightly higher carb day for me, because the output was so enormous.
Because you've been training your fucking ass off.
Because we did heavy squats, heavy hacks. We went in, right? And my body just went. I woke up 2 pounds lighter. My carbs were higher, but my insulin sensitivity increased because you create the demand.
I don't think people are always looking for some type of secret, and I don't think they value the benefit of just training your fucking ass off, like James said, not just training your ass off with doing compound movements that involve your entire body. That's going to deplete glycogen.
Yeah.
Right?
I had a very similar thing going with Ben. I had to message Patrick because I did legs like 2 days ago, and then the morning after I had breakfast, no cardio because he gave me a day off. I went food shopping and I had a hypo food shopping.
Really?
Because my body was so fucking burnt through the day before from the legs.
Yeah.
It was
it's still churning through calories, right? It's still eating up calories to recover.
Exactly.
A question for you guys. So I haven't been taking any days off. Well, that's not true. I've been just taking my day off when my body demands it. So yesterday was a day off and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to train. So I went to train. So then I'm like, I'll take tomorrow off. So today I'm kind of supposed to take the day off, but I'm like, I think I'm going to go train legs. But my high carb day is tomorrow. So I'm like, I feel like it's going to help me burn the shit out of my body and make me leaner if I go train today while I'm on low calories. But the flip side of that is training legs on the high carb day would actually help me build my legs. So I'm like, which one?
So if you train legs today, what are you training tomorrow?
Probably chest.
I would have a high carb day either today or wait to train legs tomorrow.
I know. I just like doing the high carb thing on it. I like doing my cheat on Saturday night.
Yeah. I got a high carb day tomorrow for back day. And I've had
it's not even that. So. It's not even that, Ben. This is my thought process because I'm retarded in the head sometimes. My thought process is I want to get leaner. I want to get more shredded. Why don't I stay on these low calories and the 60 grams of carbs and go burn the fuck out of a leg workout and tomorrow wake up 3 pounds lighter?
I feel like that's too much.
It's a marathon. It's a marathon. It's a marathon, man. You're going to put yourself in a hole you can't get out of.
Yeah, man. You've got all the time left till show to be able to create this deficit and stay in it. Don't create such a deficit that you find it hard to get back. If I was to do anything today, if I was you, and this is not me little anything you say because I respect you.
No, it's okay. I'm open.
Just some if you're on a low day and you want to do something, just go do hamstrings on your own.
Yeah, I did hamstrings on Tuesday.
Because you're only then you're digging. You're definitely in that deficit, but you're not getting so into it that you're going to fuck yourself.
I might just take the day off. My body probably needs a day off.
You probably should just take the day off.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll say this. Waiting until you're fucked to have a rest day. It's in a prep you're probably a day too late.
Yeah. And and you're going to know that because it's going to carry out. And imagine how you feel on that day as well.
This is always how it works for me when I prep, and this is probably why I get injured like near the ends of my preps because I as the prep goes on, I turn the dial like more, and I think that's why I usually get injured when I'm like 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out.
There is a breaking point. There's a breaking point, right? There's a point at where too much is too much.
It's because when you're 30, there's no breaking point. Like I turned that dial all the way to full, and my body would just do it.
It handled it. You strap up.
What's the?
We want you to rest today, Fouad.
All right, I'm gonna. Well, except for cardio, I'm gonna do my cardios.
You'll see later. He's gonna be like, "Oh, couldn't help myself when he trained legs." Fucking watch. He's gonna do it. You know he's gonna do it.
Scoop a bloodshot. Where you go?
Well, maybe I might. No.
No, leave it.
The dumbest thing you have heard when it comes to weightlifting? Probably what I just said. No. What's the dumbest thing you've heard when it comes to weightlifting? Anybody?
There's honestly just way too many things.
Well, just think of one. Just think of one. What's the dumbest thing you've heard when it comes to weightlifting? There is a million. It's hard to when you're put on the spot.
The one I don't like. I don't know whether it's dumb or not. Is confuse the muscle.
Why?
That one just bugs me.
Well, I mean, the term itself is kind of dumb.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What it relates to, pertains to, I agree with. But I'm the whole
saying is
confuse the muscle. I get fucked off for hearing that.
Yeah.
The dumbest thing you've heard when it comes to weightlifting. I don't know. We'll have to come back to it. Maybe something will come to me.
Yeah.
Should you do cardio if your legs are extremely sore? I'm gonna say yes and no.
Just did.
Yeah, I think if your legs are, this is how I feel about it. If your legs are sore because you trained legs yesterday, I think it's good to do the cardio because it'll help loosen up the legs and get them back to normal, help them recover.
Bit of recovery, yeah.
I think if you've been training, if you're doing like tons and tons and tons of cardio and your legs are feeling tired and burnt out,
then it's different, yeah.
That's a different feeling. So you have to be able to decipher between I'm killing the muscle and I'm sore from a leg day. That makes sense?
Yeah. Because sometimes you even need a rest from cardio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did. I took last weekend off, and then my body came back to life.
Exactly.
That's one thing that Chris Aceto does a lot. I don't know if Patrick does that, but I know Chris Aceto.
Yeah, they both do. They're quite similar because obviously when I was with the Aceto for the last prep, some mornings there'd be no CV. It's like Patrick gave me 2 days of cardio, and then what he might do is if he wants you to do anything, he'll do it later in the day so you're fed.
Yeah.
So that you've got some energy and that you're not lethargic, but you're still getting that movement in. So it's very similar actually on that respect.
Any advice to a guy who works construction 8 hours a day but love to exercise after work?
Eat.
I would say do it before.
Oh.
If you can get up in the morning, I would say do it before.
I just don't want to live that life. I'm just thinking about
I've got a couple of guys, a couple of my clients in that. I got a couple of guys that do that. They go construction, they get home, they grab a meal, take a 45-minute nap, and they go and get it done.
I'm just thinking to myself when I used to work, because I used to work as a carpenter, and I'm like, I hated going to work. I hated going to work out after work. I was always dead tired.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you go before, it's probably going to give you more energy throughout the day, to be honest.
Before is better, if anything, I've found as well when I used to do manual work.
Yeah.
So I would agree with you there. Try and get it before because you're not good. By the time you get home and you fucking sit down, you're not going to want to move.
That's how I always felt.
Yeah.
How do you know when there's too much cardio or too little when dieting? Can you ever over cardio? Oh wait, can you over cardio and prolong weight loss? Yeah. Well, we just described that you can over cardio, but what's a James or Ben? Can you guys tell me what's a trigger? Like what would be something that they would look for I'm doing too much cardio?
See, for me, it would just come from general fatigue, and like the same kind of fatigue I'd get from overtraining. There would be a massive sense of like lack of fucking motivation and almost depression. Like it would be more how I feel than physical, because physical you're going to be tired regardless, but it's more like how is it making you feel.
I'm glad you put it that way. That's a huge distinction, right? Because I was going to ask you, because some people are like, well, I'm tired, I don't want to do it. So James said it's okay because he said if you're tired, don't do it. But it's good that you made that distinction, because there's a difference between physically tired and overall like mentally drained.
Yeah. And that's why I use the word depressed, because like there will be that kind of feeling of overwhelmed depression, like pressure on yourself to do it. And that's when really you need a break, even if it's a day or two. Like even if you had 2 days off and you feel like that, like Ben had the couple of days off, you'll be ready to rock within 2 days, and that saved you a lot of heartache.
What is the reason for keeping your feet elevated the day of a show?
It just helps them look fucking dry, doesn't it? Because it's displacement of the water, isn't it?
That's pretty much it. So that's all I thought. Okay. If you can only eat chicken breast and basmati rice, no condiments every day for the rest of your life, but win the Mr. Olympia once, which would it be?
That's fine.
Yeah. That's probably what we're doing anyway.
That's what you got to do to get there. Yeah. We're pretty much literally in it.
Would you suggest red meat twice a day in the off season? I would. Ben?
I'd rather one red meat and one salmon.
Oh, I do like a bit of salmon.
I would rather.
I was going to do two.
I would rather 2 red meat and 1 salmon.
3 red meat. Flex. Ground beef every meal.
Yeah, Fouad likes his like 150 grams of fats in the off season.
My best gains came from high fat in the off season. I'm telling you. Yeah. I don't believe in the high carb, no fat diet. I don't believe in it. It just doesn't.
No, I think fats definitely have a very good role in the off season, don't they?
Would you? Oh, I just read that one. When puking while training, should you eat more afterwards to compensate?
I've never puked when I've trained.
No.
Oh,
I think I've puked like not a lot, not compared to some people, probably like 5 or 6 times.
No, I never have.
Younger years, the younger years, I used to puke a lot, but I don't think it's intensity. I think it's going too fast.
Yeah, I've gone in and I've been training with people that are throwing up while they're training, and my stomach just doesn't eject. So.
I think you should just go back to your diet. I don't think you should worry about trying to overcompensate for the loss of
I would. It's not happening every fucking day, is it?
Yeah.
If it is, you got a problem.
If it's happening every day, you're eating too close to your workout. Yeah. You need to change your pre-workout meal.
I think I'll tell you when I think I used to get it, boys. Is when the pre-workouts first came on the scene.
Yeah.
Because they all tasted really bad.
Yeah.
I'm not. I was never a big pre-workout guy anyway, so maybe that's why as well.
I
never really.
I've always taken a pre-workout.
Same. I rely on them.
Before like actual pre-workouts came out, I used to take fat burners before I go to the gym for the energy.
Like estrogen, just like
yeah. I used to go fucking crazy.
I don't like feeling like really. I don't really drink coffee either. I don't like. I don't like feeling stimmed.
You put on some fucking Britney Spears and you kind of calm down, go to the gym. We know. Come on, man! Fucking get a little bit excited. Take some ephedrine, put some fucking Metallica on. Go to the gym.
Hey, I can hang with most people. Don't worry, I don't need all that fucking macho bollocks.
Okay, wait a minute. I have a question about that. It's not about needing. Isn't it just more fun to go crazy? No. You don't find it fun?
I like to.
Do you not get excitement out of like when I drive to the gym, I got fucking hard music playing, I get my mind right. I'm like,
no.
You don't like that shit?
No.
Why? Why do you want to be so calm?
You're
going to fuck shit up, and you're like, I just want to be calm.
And I still do. I just don't need all the other shit, the bells and whistles that you put on.
Yeah, I like that in the off season, but I can't do that in prep because if I do that in prep, I'll explode. Like
the trend just amps you to 11.
I won't get to the gym. I'll be in the fucking police station by the time I get halfway there.
I also don't drive like a fucking idiot either. Because I imagine
I used to.
Well,
I used to put like heavy music on, and I would drive like 180 miles an hour to the fucking gym.
But then cars are boring. Cars are boring to me because I've been on a motorbike, and you can't replace that.
It's not the speed. It's just anyway. I can't explain it. I just like the feeling of. I like just riling
the rush. You like the rush.
Yeah, I like getting riled up. It's my excitement for the day. It's my time at the gym when I can.
You're an angry, hateful man. It's fine. You hate women. You hate women, and it's just.
I love women. Bite your tongue. What's the most dangerous thing you guys have ever seen someone do in the gym? James squatting 7 plates at fucking 4 weeks out. That's probably the most dangerous thing I've ever seen. I mean, it's not dangerous for you because you're an animal, but that is one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
Oh, man, come on. Some of these kids that fucking deadlift like they're dog shitting is much more dangerous.
That's true.
Like the ones they hoist it up and they go.
No, you know what? I always wait for it's a small one, but you know when they get like 2 plates and they bench press them, squeezing them. I'm praying. I pray that once I'm like, please fucking slip. Please just drop one. Fucking idiots.
Don't do that.
Like,
What about Brandon when he was in 02 and he fucking did the tricep overhead extension and the whole machine fell on him?
Yeah. That's not his fault. That's not his fault.
No. I'm saying that's like when you think about danger, potential danger. Imagine that.
I honestly would get scared. Like, I think it's just maybe because I've had so many injuries, but when I would see Ronnie train, and the guy's like, 4 weeks out and he's squatting 800 pounds. I'm like, what is this guy? What is he doing? Like, what are you doing? And it's amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like he's like, it's absolutely incredible, but it's scary.
Yeah. I'm always I've never been worried with like looking at people when they lift weight. I always get worried when their form's bad. I
see.
It's a form thing for me that makes me scared. Like if someone's really moving something in a really,
I worry about it. Well, I worry about it when someone's when someone's getting show ready because I'm like, you're too depleted and too shredded to be doing that thing. And it would just, I'm like, it kind of makes me do one of these. I'm like, oh shit, right? So
I've taken note. That's why I'm Smith squatting for the last few weeks.
But it's like what James said. It's what James said, though. It's almost like you'll have a distinction between somebody controlling the weight, right? I have an analogy. You're either the driver or you're the passenger, right? Mm-hmm. And you'll have some people that are bench pressing like even 2-3 plates and they're the fucking passenger. They have no business picking up that fucking weight, right? And then you got other people like I was watching Hunter yesterday. He's in the driving seat on that hack squat, right? It was precise. It was every inch of that movement. He is under control, right? Some people get on and they'll plummet, and it's like,
that's a really good analogy. That's a really good way to put it because that's so true. Sometimes you're just going along for the ride. Guy has no idea what the fuck he's doing. He's just he's in a seat in a leg press, and he's just like hoping for dear God.
Right. The leg press is probably
hoping for dear God that it doesn't crush him.
They kind of like close their eyes and hope for the best on the way down and just shove it back up, right? Versus somebody who's actually precise and they're like here to here. It's a very different look.
Roughly how low can a 200-pound guy go with calories in a day to get peeled?
As low as you need to.
In a day you can go fucking virtually nothing because the next day you'll have calories. So I'm not suggesting it, but it all depends on your grand scheme, doesn't it?
My first ever show, I was 230 pounds on the stage, and my low day was 1,400 calories.
Yeah.
Right?
So you can go pretty low. Bikini kind of calories.
This is for the whole crew. What's the longest bulk season you guys ever had? My whole life is a bulk season. I
haven't really had a long one, Fouad.
Mine was between 2009 and 2011. Hani wanted me to take a year off, so I didn't compete in 2010.
Oh, okay.
So I had I think 15 or 16 months of just fucking.
That's nice.
I put on a lot of muscle there.
I bet you did.
I had 18 months off, but I had 2 surgeries in that time, but I was still off seasoning, so But yeah, 18 months.
That's more forced. What's the longest that you had off that you?
No, because that was the year because the next show I did was when James and I did the British finals.
No, so I know, but
I'm saying. No, a couple of the surgeries. So one of the surgeries was a short recovery, but it meant I couldn't do the finals that year. Okay. So I actually did an off season into that. Then I took 3 or 4 weeks off of the gym. Then I went back into an off season again for.
So it was, yeah.
So I was saying like the surgeries came out. I was just awkward timings, but it meant I went, oh fuck it, I'll just go off season for a while.
Yeah. From your prep meal, what's the one meal you can binge so much that it would feel like you're having a cheat meal? My breakfast, eggs and oatmeal. If I could eat like 10 eggs and like 3 cups of oatmeal, it would feel like a cheat meal and I would be satisfied.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to put peanut butter in my oatmeal. Well, it's just saying. He said.
I have.
I want to put chocolate in mine, but
but he said that's one of my meals. My first meal is half a cup of oatmeal, 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, and 2 whole eggs and 12 egg whites. So I'm just saying I would like to have a lot more of that meal.
I have 100 grams of lean steak, 10 egg whites, 2 whole eggs, and 100 grams of ground cream of rice.
That's one of your meals right now?
That's my breakfast.
That sounds amazing.
It's good. It's good. My breakfast is amazing.
You said steak, eggs.
So steak, eggs, egg whites. I put chives in there to make it nice, salt and pepper, and then I obviously have my ground rice as well.
Oh, you said cream of rice.
Yeah, sorry, but we have here rice, we have the shit. Yeah, I have cream of rice as well.
That sounds like an incredible meal.
My leg day breakfast is pretty good. It's 12 ounce of egg whites, 2 whole duck eggs, 2 slices of turkey bacon, a cup and a half of oats, and a cup of blueberries.
But wait a minute, that's kind of that's a cheat meal, kind of. It's not a regular diet meal.
That is a diet meal because my upper meal is the same, just different quantities.
What's the breakfast on the normal day? That's what I want to know.
Sorry?
What's your breakfast on a normal day?
12 ounce of egg whites, 2 whole duck eggs, turkey bacon, 1 cup of oats, and a half cup of blueberries. It's the same, just different amounts.
That's turkey bacon.
That's why you're not shredded. You're eating turkey bacon and blueberries.
You know, the turkey bacon is just because what you do is you extract a few egg whites in replace. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, okay, fuck having an extra 500 milliliters of egg whites. I'll have turkey bacon instead.
Actually, I'll tell you a lie, because as of this morning, there's no more turkey bacon, but the rest is the same.
Oh no!
And my last 3 meals of the day are white fish and greens, white fish and greens, white fish and greens. So fuck off.
That's shit. I hate that.
I'm gonna make one of my meals like James. Steak. Do you put ketchup on the eggs?
I don't need it. I just like salt and pepper with chives.
Fuck. That ruins it. I need to have ketchup.
No, I just don't need sauce. I'm not a sauce guy for some reason. The one meal I really like that I have in the day is chicken, rice, green runner beans, and olive oil. That's like really olive oil. Olive oil on rice is just like the fucking best.
The olive oil makes it.
So
I keep putting macadamia oil on my chicken and rice.
Everybody talks about that. I've tried that and I can't do it. Really?
I still like olive oil the most. Flavor wise.
Yeah, everybody talks about macadamia nut oil like it's so good, and I'm like, I can't. I tried it once.
I just like the flavor.
Yeah, I know. Is it worth splitting a dose of 3 IUs of GH AM PM or take it all in one shot?
I like AM
PM. All in the morning.
I like AM PM, but
take it all in the morning.
Yeah, but if you're
1.5.
Would you really?
Yeah.
I feel like it's too small. I feel like it's too small an amount.
Unless it's 6 here. No, I just like to split. I usually do like first thing in the morning and then after training.
Ben, what do you think?
If it's that lower a dose, then all at once.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Did you guys ever in your career joined a lift with someone who was more experienced in bodybuilding who made you realize that you needed to step up your game? Yes.
Yeah, many times. No. Many times.
Ben's like, no, I'm the best.
I'm the Don.
I literally just spent 20 minutes raving about how Hunter Labrada gave me a kick up my ass.
Yeah, man, I think all of us have, right? You at some point in your career, either at the beginning or in the middle, you train with someone and go, oh, fuck, I have another gear I didn't realize I had.
I've trained with like Sasan, Luke, fucking obviously Steve Avery, Ben. God, people that like or were well ahead, or you know, I might have managed to catch up now, but at the time they were fucking juggernauts.
Yeah,
and you need that.
Yeah, I've trained with natural kids that I went, holy fuck! Like the fucking girl that I said showed like that mental there. It's different, you know. Some people have a different gear. They don't have to be a top end pro. They just have to be a little sick in the fucking head.
That's true.
Any advice for how somebody can pick up the eye for judging a bit better? Like for most everyday people, you can see a lineup on stage and can't tell any difference. They're just all huge. But if the New York Pro has proved anything, it's that bodybuilding can be so subtle yet so competitive. Aside from listening to your commentaries and podcasts like yours, what can a spectator do to be more than some jerk armchair quarterback?
I see, when I hear that, I find the most credible people to listen to are the people that actually compete themselves. Because I just feel like we have an understanding of physiques more than people that have never done it.
But that's tough. But that's tough to say, James. Because then you look at someone like Milos, and Milos thinks fucking Max should have won.
No, but Milos is just saying that because that's his client.
I know, but I guess what my point is,
in all honesty, if everyone was honest, I think a bodybuilder who's competed has a better eye than anybody else.
I think to answer the question, how would you improve, is attend shows and observe, and don't make opinions. Observe at what opinions are made, and kind of see what is being rewarded, and see if you agree. And
this is partly a failure on IFBB's part, because I said it during our wrap up that I really feel like it's important that when they have commentary, they have somebody who understands judging criteria, because like the UFC, when Joe Rogan's commentating, he's not just commentating, he's teaching. Like I've learned so much about jiu-jitsu, and I've never been to a jiu-jitsu class. I've never it's only from listening to Rogan call fights.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be really good for the sport to have like Dennis James or whoever they want to do the color commentary, and then have a judge sitting there that can actually explain to people why they're picking or why they're moving people into certain areas. Until that happens, though, I think you're both right. I think going to more shows, I think listening to credible people that are explaining things without emotion. And then time. I think it just takes time. I think the more, it's like any sport, right? The more you watch it, the more you understand what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
So
you'll see patterns, and then your eye will start getting drawn to what, matches those patterns.
That's true.
How do you guys do your water manipulation leading up to a show? That's too complicated because everybody's different.
It can be different every single time.
Yeah. Have you ever shit yourself mid-set?
A slight poop when I did deadlifting. I did shit a little bit down my leg, just a little, but it wasn't solid. It was more like the residue of a fart. Like a fart.
What is the residue of a fart? What does that look like?
If you were to blow a mud cake through a trumpet.
Oh, shit, no.
So it was like splattery, but it wasn't like
that's
it
not
wasn't
residue
a
of a fart. That's shit. You shit yourself.
Well, I did, but it would have been worse if an actual fucking log came out. I would have felt. But yeah, I remember doing that, and I did say as soon as I'd done that rep, I said I've shat myself, and I remember going to the toilet and just taking my boxers off and putting my shorts back on.
And then finishing the workout?
Yeah, still training.
Did you bin the boxers? Did you bin the boxers or put them in the bag?
The boxers just went straight into the bin.
I thought I shit myself once during cardio, but I didn't. I thought
during cardio.
Well, I was rumble sometimes.
I was walking on the treadmill, and I'm like, it was at home, so don't worry, I wouldn't do this in public. But I farted, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm like, I don't know, like didn't really feel like a fart, and I had I think I was at 39 minutes. And I'm like,
you need to finish.
I'm like, I'm not getting off now. I'm like, fuck this. So I just kept walking, and the whole time I was walking, I'm like, I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. I'm like, did I shit myself or not? And I couldn't tell. And I'm like, I only got 6 minutes to go. I'm at home. I'm just gonna finish, and then I will go
with a mess after.
I'll go shower, right? And so I went after, and it turns out it was just a warm part.
Lucky, but isn't it funny that isn't one of the worst things you can do is cardio when you've got a sore stomach?
Yeah, especially when you're at the gym, because you don't.
And you're like, you're like waddling along, and you're like, oh, it's bubbling, and I could go any minute. I've had that a few times.
I think I might have sharted once during the leg press.
Must have. You've been around a while. Come on.
Have you ever farted on the leg press, and then both you and your training partner pretend it didn't happen, and you just keep going with your set?
Oh yeah.
Like I remember specifically doing a set, and I remember it's happened a few times actually. Like you're on your third rep and it's coming down and you fart, and then the natural reaction is to look at your buddy and laugh. But both of you pretend it didn't happen and you just keep going.
Yeah. I've PT'd women in the past at my old gym that farted on leg presses. Do
you stop them? Do you ever look at them, or you pretend it didn't happen?
No, because they're making they're grunting while they're doing it, like they're female. So I just, just concentrate on that rather than the fart. But I have heard women fart when I felt like, because I used to train a lot of people.
All right. Anyway, we'll do a couple more.
The question is, what fart was it though? Was it front or back? That's what I wonder.
Oh.
Just don't know on the leg press, do you?
They're collecting a lot of air, eh?
It depends on the age. Depends on the age as well.
Because on the way down, you're absorbing the air, and then on the way up, you're blowing it out.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one.
Can you tell the difference between the front and back fart?
No, I couldn't. Otherwise, I would have been able to say it was an anus fart or
It's a different smell, so a different texture.
Well, she heard that.
All right, we're changing the subject now.
We'll move on.
You got to tell me when she's fucking there, man.
I didn't even know she was. She just appears. Look, she just comes in out of frame. She's in the next room, but when she hears something that's entertaining, she comes walking in.
Ask her. Is there a way to tell between the front and back fart?
Yannicka, how do I tell between the difference between a front fart for a woman and a back fart? How do I do it? Do they sound different? She says she doesn't fart from the front, so she doesn't know.
One smells like old tilapia.
That's bullshit.
Popping out. That's lies.
Every woman has.
But it's all right. We'll let you off because you're under pressure. It's fine.
Every woman has farted from the front at some point.
Oh, of course.
All right.
We know this.
We'll move on. We don't want to embarrass your girlfriend.
She's embarrassed to the left.
Would you like to see the Olympia move to a new city every year, or even a country? Your thoughts?
Yeah, London. London would be lovely. It'd be really easy for me.
Okay. Other than it being for you, though, do you?
Hey, you got to qualify for it first.
I'm going to get there. Don't worry. 4 weeks, lad. 4 weeks. Confident.
Who's doing the show?
Regan, Milan Sadiq.
Is Raphael doing it?
Maybe Raphael,
Reagan, Samson, you.
Samson. Me and Samson have already shook hands and said we're qualifying for the O. We've done it. We've already had our talk.
I don't think I'm doing it, Ben, because I can't travel from Spain to the US.
You can't get back.
Yeah, you have to quarantine after, don't you? It's actually currently not on our quarantine list, which is good for now, but it could change.
Yeah, you'd be fine going, but that's what I was saying to you yesterday. You can't getting back would be a bitch.
Yeah. Why do you wear a slimming belt when doing cardio? Does it work? I think it means a waist trainer. Yeah, it does seem to work. It doesn't work. I want to just say something for the record. Wearing a waist trainer doesn't actually make your waist smaller. It just helps me control my stomach, which makes you have control of your abdomen.
It makes you train your stomach.
Yeah, it makes you hold your waist, which is actually, in essence, it's teaching you how to control your waist when you're on stage.
Yeah.
So that's more the benefit of wearing a waist trainer. I don't wear a waist trainer because I think it's crushing my fucking waist and going to make it smaller.
Yeah, it's not a corset.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I wear it during cardio because I feel like during cardio I'm breathing heavy, and if I can control my waist while I'm breathing heavy, it will relate to the stage. That's
true.
That's why I do that.
That's why I like posing after cardio.
Yeah, I do that too.
Like if you can do rounds after hard cardio and you're a little heart rate's a little elevated, and don't get me wrong, like doing posing when you're fresh is fine as well. But I think if you can get that stage condition. Like
if you can do it when you're tired,
I mean, I don't mean conditioning, I mean like stage fitness, right?
Yeah.
If you guys want, check out my bio on Instagram. You can use my code. My code is Fouad at skinnyroadie.com. Their waist trainers are my favorite because they're short. So if you got like a bigger lats, it kind of sits under your lats and wraps around your waist. So check those out. Do you think Jeremy Buendia in 2017 could have been competitive in Classic and won the title? No. Okay. What do you think about the SST training that Patrick Tour is known for? Have you ever tried it? If James is on, how much would you credit the training to your recent impressive progress? Of course, nutrition is paramount, but wanted your opinions. What do you think, James?
Again, it's like what I said about Jordan's training. As long as all training is regulated and adjusted and monitored and managed to suit what's going on with your body, because everything needs changing. Nothing can stay the same. You can't say, here's a 12-week plan, let's go. And it's the same with nutrition. So really it's more that side of things is more important. But the training is obviously great because there's things in there that I like the intensifiers, like the time under tension, like the rest pause. you know, the kind of sets that for me personally keep me more stimulated when in the gym, because straight sets can be quite boring if they're just the only thing I'm solely doing.
Yeah.
So for me, it's easy to adhere to. And if I can adhere to it, then it's going to yield result. And that's basically it for me. There's obviously science behind it, and Patrick has his reasons, but I'm happy just to do it because it feels great.
Do you think, I guess the question is, do you think you would have made the similar gains?
No, because I wouldn't have been passionate. I wouldn't have had the same passion towards the training, because it wouldn't have spiced up my life.
You know what? That's a great answer. So I've learned along the way to not be absolute in my answers, because one of the most important thing about training, diet, anything is if you don't like it, you're not going to do it.
Exactly. It could be the best plan in the fucking world. And if it's something that you just for some reason can't get on with, it's like coaches. Listen, we've all worked with coaches. Some of them really probably the best in the world. But for some reason, we just don't feel comfortable there.
You know what it's like? It's like when someone says to me, why don't you do HIIT cardio? It burns more calories. And I'm like, because it fucking sucks. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm
every fucking day. I'd rather not. I'd rather just be like,
if it works better, but I can still get shredded doing the thing I like.
Yeah.
Why would I do the thing I hate?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Can you talk about the likelihood and risks of adding significant mass in your upper 30s, assuming someone who got a late start in bodybuilding and hasn't maxed out their frame? I think he's talking about the health risks. I'm assuming.
Unless you're putting on like fucking 60 pounds in 6 weeks, I don't think you're anything to be worried about.
I don't think the risks are any greater for. No. Well, actually, that's not true.
This 30s. That's not old. Come on.
Upper 30. I think there's a couple things. Like if we're talking about health and he's talking about steroids, the longer
different.
The longer you're. Well, I don't know what to take from the question. What do you guys get from it? Because it says, can you?
I'm with you. I think he's talking about
gear.
He wants to juice up. What's the health implications? But the same rules apply. They're just probably he needs to be. I always do this before anyone starts anything. You get your blood work done. You have a full health panel done as you get your baseline found. A lot of guys, I didn't do this, right? Because I was young and dumb. And I now have everyone do it. If I have a newbie or they're a natural lifter and they're about to start a cycle, we get a baseline. We have a baseline of where you're at to work back towards when we come off, and make sure everything's in order.
When you're older, though, for example, this age, you have to be even more considerate of such factors.
Right. And so I think getting blood work done, going to see again EKG done would be wise before you would make any big changes to cycles or anything, Because there might be some underlying factors at that age, if your cholesterol is already
I could also say the reverse, and everything you're saying is right, Ben, 100%. But I could also say that because you haven't started anything until you're in your 30s, you're probably better off than somebody who did it. Like I started doing gear when I was 20, so I probably
if he's already got bad cholesterol, then
I already said I agree with everything you said.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I'm saying the only thing I'm saying is on the positive side.
Yeah,
is he hasn't tortured his body at all yet? It's still if he's healthy, right?
Which goes back to the same principles apply to whether you're 22 and about to start or you're 38 and about to start.
Yeah,
I operate the same way.
Yeah, I agree. Why do people look like shit? Continuously criticize and critique some of the top bodybuilders, telling them they don't deserve to win, or other hateful comments of that nature in today's industry. This has always blown my mind.
It's purely because they know that it's click, but they know that now that you can make a living out of talking trash and get views on videos. Because to be fair, if YouTube didn't exist, they wouldn't feel the need to voice their opinion because it wouldn't generate them any income. So I think it's financially driven more than anything.
But there's a difference between say if it was me, for example, when we did the watch along,
the wrap up,
and I'm critiquing a physique, right? And saying, he needs to. There's a difference between that versus slamming somebody, right? You know what I mean? And I don't
think he's talking about constructive criticism.
No, I'm saying there is a difference, but there's a fine line that you get to, and then, like James said, you get to the point where if you cross that line, you become controversial. And in today's world, controversy is great.
Can I just on that point, somebody asked a question. I don't know where it is, and I don't know if I passed it or not. But somebody's like, "How do you guys feel?" And it was two people. I can't remember the second person, but how do you? Oh, Simeon. How do you feel about Simeon Panda and Mike O'Hearn claiming to be natural? And I'm like, is this fucking question not dead yet? Like, do we? Like, why does anybody give a fuck?
Leave them alone, to be fair.
But it's just, it goes back to what you guys are saying, is somebody found a way to get views by taking this person and making them like, oh, look, he said he's natural, but he's full of shit. Let's criticize him.
So like, if you can't get famous off your own back, talk about the famous.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah. And then, because now that's how you get fucking famous. You get famous for talking about fucking other people.
I'm not going to mention any fucking names, but
but you know exactly how it is.
They know who they are. Their entire fame is based on
talking about
bashing,
is bashing other fucking people, and that they don't even know. They have no clue who they are. They don't know anything about them. They're just guessing at what they're doing, and they just run their mouth, and it gets hundreds of thousands of views. And I'm like, you yourself have done nothing.
Yeah.
You're just talking about other people that are doing things.
And that's the sad thing about some of what today is, because there is honestly good people out there working hard to try and provide content, knowledge, experience, and like really do something right, like you are yourself. And then you get these guys, like I say, that just trash talk people who've got millions of followers and get millions of views and are making money out of YouTube.
It's like Generation Iron. Them I'll actually say they're just shit.
They're really bad, but they're so blatant about it as well. It's just, I don't. Yeah. The thing, if we're going to talk about Mike O'Hearn and Simeon Panda, there are 95% of the guys juiced to the gills that look nothing like those two guys. So whether they are or they're not, they look phenomenal. Move on.
That's how I feel about it. That's what I'm always wondering. Like, why? Okay, let's say you're right and they're on steroids. Who fucking cares?
They look great.
Yeah, they look amazing.
We're all trying to look great, and we're all juicing. So who gives a fuck? They're either on our bus and they look great and it's worked, or they're not on our bus and they look great. Fair play. Like, it's a win.
I don't. You know what? It's funny is like Mike O'Hearn is like 52 years old or some shit.
It's crazy.
Yeah. The guy looks like he's 30. And he's got an incredible physique, and people are still like, he's lying. I'm like, who cares?
And he's strong as a fucking, oh my God, he's performance matches.
I know, but I just don't know what people's fascination with. I have to make him tell the truth. I'm like, why do you give a fuck? Why do you, like, what's it going to do for your life if tomorrow Mike O'Hearn goes online and he says, I've been lying this whole time, I'm on steroids. What is that going to do?
It's entitlement. People are entitled now, and they think that the world of social media has allowed them access that they never had before, and they want more access and they want more information, like, no, you don't. Sometimes people are allowed to have a private life.
Yeah. It's excuses as well. That's why I don't look as good as Mike O'Hearn, because he's a juice head. Yeah,
but even if
that's what they, and that's,
but I know you're right, James. But even if he said I'm on juice, 99.5% of people still wouldn't look as good as him.
I know. So, but like, that's the problem. That's not their fucking aim, because they're using the famous people to get their fucking cash flow.
All right, one last.
Mike O'Hearn's got a massive following. So if I talk about Mike O'Hearn every fucking saga, then I'm going to get myself some fucking viewers. These sad motherfuckers.
Maybe we should just wrap it here. I don't know. Maybe we should wrap it on a better note. Let's wrap it on a more positive note.
Wrap it on a positive note, because we're killing these people.
Okay. What is this? What is the deal with strict curls all of a sudden? Why does everybody care how much people can curl?
Every video that's on the internet run out.
Somebody asked that. Who do you think can Nick Strength and Power strict curl the most out of the group? Or he's asking Nick Strength and Power who he thinks out of us can strict curl. First of all, I can't curl shit. Second of all, it's always been my weakest movement. But second of all, who cares?
Yeah.
When was that a thing?
Strict curl.
Like if somebody says, how much can you squat? How much can you deadlift? How much can you bench? I'm like, okay, who fucking cares how much you squat?
If you click on YouTube now and you see what comes up, like I guarantee you'll get at least 5 recommendations of different people doing strict curls. It's crazy.
Let's see what comes up.
It's a proper fad going on.
I think the recent wave of it came from Larry, right?
Because when Larry does something, everyone jumps on the wagon.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah. People love Larry Wills.
Nick's Strength and Power strict curl, 54,000. This is 4 years ago. He's doing this 4 years ago?
Yeah, was he? Oh, God, he was, wasn't he?
5 years ago. Go down.
5 years ago. Nick Strength and Power really cares about the strict curl thing shit, eh? He's like, this is 5 years ago. He's
and there's Larry below. Larry with Blessing.
Oh, down here we go. 1.9 million views. I guess I'm wrong. I guess a lot of people care about strict curls.
Well, maybe the three of us should do a video on strict curls. We'll do the same video they done.
Mine's going to be like 60 pounds.
Oh, mine would as well. But yeah, for some reason, it's a really there's another guy, I can't remember his name, some like powerlifter who's heavily overweight, but he's been posting loads of strict curls lately. Everyone's chasing a world record. At the minute, there's like this world record up for grabs.
I don't understand the fascination.
I don't know the rules, because when I've seen people...
They have a whole championship. Yeah. They have a whole championship for it. Jesus Christ.
Well, because Larry loves to go into different competitions and dominate. So he's just looking for things to do that are a little bit different.
Yeah, I've never thought it was a big deal, I guess. I didn't know why.
It'll be how much do you rear fly next? Rear delt fly.
All right. Anyway, one more and then we'll go. I know I said that 4 times already, but
typically.
Would you rather okay, this is a good one. We'll finish with this one. Would you rather take a punch from Thor or Mike Tyson in his prime?
Thor all day.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson's prime.
Fuck that.
Wait a minute. Just wait 1 second. Wait.
Pull up the video of Thor punching. It's embarrassing.
Okay.
Now put up a recent video of Tyson throwing a left hook to the body. Fuck no. You're insane. You're insane.
We would all have broken necks if Tyson punched us.
I just want to say
Tyson's a fucking out and out killer. Watch this. Look, this is just embarrassing.
But what I'm thinking is, okay,
you have to put up the Mike Tyson. You have to put up the Mike Tyson.
Okay, but 1 second. I just want to ask one question. So, imagine you couldn't move though, and he didn't have to like.
It still doesn't matter.
If he just could.
I don't care. Tyson knows how to generate absolute power through everything.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Tyson's hips are involved.
Oh, that does. Yeah,
he's throwing. Look, come on.
All right,
now go to Mike Tyson. Just find a recent one of Mike Tyson at 52.
All right. I have to say for the record, I agree with you guys. It's a show, you know. I can't fucking just agree with you off the bat. It would be boring.
Yes, you can.
Hardest punching boxer ever.
No,
ever.
No, just tell me Mike Tyson.
Yeah, like you still wouldn't want to get hit by this guy now. Put it that way.
No, I know. I've been watching.
He's back in camp. The guy's body shots are just a joke.
Do you see him on Rogan's podcast?
Yeah.
He seemed to he seemed a little bit annoyed to me.
No, he's just amped up. He's just getting in this mindset.
That's what I'm saying. Like he seems like he's like
he turns it, like he said, he turns into the rapist psychopath that he was.
Well, I'm just saying, like, remember how he was the first time he was on Rogan, like when he was not training.
Yeah,
he was very happy and laughy
and stoned.
It's the pressure. Yeah, he's getting very serious again, isn't
he? Yeah, like you boys get when you,
like we are now, fucking fumes out, like oh.
There's different videos, but this is there's one of him moving, and you just watch his rotation. It's just insane. He's putting every. Abdul's just standing there. He's just going to throw an arm at you, right? Tyson puts absolutely everything behind it.
It's just because the advert's we got 2 second advert. Now it's gone. You should be able to skip it.
Oh, for fuck's sakes!
It'll be on there because Rafael Cordero was his coach, or is his coach currently. They'll put up a.
There we go.
Oh, this is going to be I still wouldn't want to get knocked by this guy.
It's the way he moves is terrifying, man.
It's that body, that left hook to the body is just disgusting. You know, people he put away with
it's like it's in fast forward, but it's not. That's just how fast he moves.
But he manages to rotate.
I know.
It's insane. He's generating so much power. Oh.
Look at the guy. The fucking trainer.
Look at that fucking thing to the body. It's
insane.
Oh, hot damn.
How many ribs do you think you'd break if he hit you like that?
4.
Seriously, do you think you just crack all your fucking ribs?
One for each knuckle.
Yeah.
Yeah. He knows how to punch. It's a different thing.
Isn't it fucking amazing that at like 53 or whatever he is, he's still just an animal. Like he just nothing still. He said he's doing, when I was watching Rogan's podcast, he said he's doing all the different modes of recovery, like hyperbaric chambers and fucking cryotherapy and like
training with
Brad Rose doing all of it. Yeah, all that electric nonsense.
Electrolysis stuff on him as well.
I wonder how much growth hormone they have him on.
Oh mate,
all the growth.
He's taking all the growth. He's taking all the growth.
and it must be the best as well. It's got to be the best.
He's got the human cadaver growth.
Yeah,
literally.
John Jones. I bet you John Jones thinks he could beat him. Okay. I won't say too much about John Jones, Ben. I'm sorry. I know you're a big John Jones.
No, in a boxing match, John Jones gets smoked. In MMA, John Jones smokes him.
Of course.
Different story.
All right, boys. I got to eat. You guys got to eat. It's been a while.
I am actually starving. The last 10 minutes.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. James. Okay. I'll let you guys go. We'll catch up next week maybe. And actually, maybe if we have time. If we have time tomorrow, Ben, maybe we'll do.
I'm not here tomorrow. I'm out all day.
He's out. He's leaving.
I'm with Hunter at Branch's show.
All right, then we're probably not going to do a Cali cover. So, anyways, until next week, then I guess.
Gentlemen.
All right, gentlemen.
Enjoy your food.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Peace out, guys.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and like the video. And if you get a chance, check out the description for all the different links to all the different places you can find Hostile and myself. And lastly, check out hostile.com for our new line of supplements and all of our apparel and gear. Thanks again for watching.